Welcome to this week's episode of Art Wisdom with Chris and Kat. Last week we talked about how to build your email list. And this week we're talking about how to sell art and prints using that email list.
It's a big topic. That's why I had to be broken down in two. So I love email lists are honestly my favorite thing for sure. And I mean, I know we spoke, and of course, if you haven't listened to the last episode, make sure you go back and listen to that. But I think, the importance of a list is that obviously, firstly, they're people that you can have a direct relationship with, and it's a platform that necessarily can't be taken away from you as such. Yeah, Facebook could get shut down, you get blocked from whatever. Obviously, and sometimes not even your own fault. So being able to access your buyers is really important. But also, I think that there's something very special when someone gives you their personal information, when they say, hey, this is my email list.
Yeah, they want to talk to you, don't they? They want to talk to you. They want to be part of your community.
100%. So I find 30% on every time when I sell, 30% of the people have already bought from me and they've already been on that list. So, at minimum, you're going to be building your sales by at least 30% every time, which isn't a small amount. So I think the place that I want to start is, firstly, what do you put in your email and how do you write it? Now, I know you've had some great successes, Chris. And so
only one silly one when you were with me, really, wasn't it? I wrote this email because I was having an exhibition, and I, wrote it as if I was writing it to a friend. It was, just very personable, and then completely sort of forgot about it. Go to my emails, and then in my email box, I've got this. Oh, this is just for you. This link isn't for everybody. And I was like, oh, that sounds exciting. What's that? And it was my own email to myself. So
that's the beauty.
A good, a really good thing that you went, well, I was interested in it. So,
Well, that's it, right? Right, like a human being, and talk as if you're talking to your best friend. Yeah. And it's so important. I can't even stress this, because I don't know. I think also people have a million emails coming in a day. Well, maybe not a million, it's an exaggeration, but we get a lot of marketing, we get a lot of newsletters and stuff, and we just sort of bat it away. Do you know what I mean? And it's sort of impersonal. It's just, solid, even the newsletters that are written a bit more personally. So I remove pretty much all formatting. It's just literally written as if it's written from a Gmail, with some beautiful images and stuff like that. And I write it. Yeah, as I said, write it as if, I would say, think about a good friend, and literally write their name in first, because, you wouldn't write to your best friend, but wait, there's more. If you go in there, do you know what I mean?
And first name as well. Do you never put the second name? Just first name, isn't it? Hi, Kat.
Yeah, right. Hello, Chris Mercer. But wait, there's more. If you email in the next 15 seconds, I'll give you no.
I think we try and be professional, don't we? I think we feel like that we need to be more than we actually are sometimes, and it's really we just need to be who we are.
Right. So let your personality come out, and of course, you don't want to be super unprofessional. You're not going to be using a lot of swear. Well, I mean, it depends. Maybe that's your bag, but obviously, be authentic. That's the most important thing, because if you're not authentic, A, people aren't going to even open your email, and B, people aren't going to read it once they have. So I think that's super important. The other thing I think that's really important is including images. Obviously, keep them small, because people are mostly watching. Now, people are going to be looking at your emails predominantly on their phones. It's not often that people will be sitting at a computer doing, their emails. I mean, that does obviously happen. We do have jobs, but on a day-to-day basis on your personal inbox, you're mostly looking at it on your phone. So, but
how many would you do on average, Kat, images that you put on?
I like 2 or 3. I think that's a good amount. But sometimes there are occasions where I don't include them, but I much prefer adding them. And because ultimately, you know, people are following us because we're artists.
Yeah.
They like the visual aspect of it. Obviously, they want to know a bit of personality and a bit of backstory. But, you know, people are drawn. Like, I have emails. The only newsletters that I open is when they consistently send interesting pictures, because sometimes my brain is too potato to like read. So I just open it and look at the pictures and then close it. And you know what? That's fine. I love that. So I would say, like, if you're an artist, add some images, but keep them small, because that's why people are there.
You know, like I get automated emails. You just know they're automated emails that they come through, or people's email lists, even from artists, and they're pages long. You know, don't have the patience to
pet peeve.
Well, I'm sure they might be really, really interesting, some of them, but it's just too much for me.
Yeah, you know what? That's a good point. Keep it short. Like, even if you've got loads of things, like if you're writing an email, like cut it down and then cut it down and then cut it down until it's literally like bare bones. Of course, you want to include some like fun and maybe some like personal story or whatever's going on. But like, if you're, you know, if you're making it really taxing and hard work, if they're having to, you know, and also people are time poor. Let's be honest. They do not. People, well, I don't have time. Yeah, you don't have time. I'm sure every person listening to this, you guys, you don't have time to go through reams and reads every single letter in an email. So I always like to like chunk it down. I often put like, if I've got like a couple of, maybe if I've got more than one paragraph, I'll try to break it into like key points and just put like what the point is about, and then a bit of short description to make it as user friendly as possible, so you can skim read it, because ultimately people skim read emails. If you're trying to write a novel, you're gonna have a bad time.
You're gonna lose people. And people, you know, we talked last week about CRMs, customer relationship management tool, something like that, CRMs. That you can set your emails up on a CRM, but it's that thing as well, like people set them up, and some I've signed up to, it's like every day I'm getting an email from them. It's like, as soon as it's like, move on, it's too much people. It's like,
that's right. There's something called list fatigue, right? And when I'm in the middle of a sales period, I might send a couple of emails and then I'll like stop. But like, for instance, this time Ian just had a sale, so I was promoting his stuff and then mine straight after. And it's like a lot of emails, and people just get worn out from having so many. And if you lose, like, it would be better to segment people that don't have time to open or aren't opening, and then just only send them something once a month, and every 2 months. Like, it doesn't, like, I know that the email services try to encourage you to, like, you know, send regularly. But honestly, I think you think about how you like to receive emails. Now, let's say hypothetically that email, all it has is 5 bullet points and 2 pretty pictures. Well, that's actually not so bad if you receive it more regularly, because it's a bite-sized piece of information and you can consume it. But if it's pages and pages and pages, and you're sending to them and on the daily, every other day, twice a week, or even sometimes weekly, it's a bit much. You know,
I think it's like, be aware, isn't it, of what you like, because I think we tend to think differently of like, oh, marketing, sales, okay, what do I do? And then we make it all up. But it's like, when it's happening to us, what do we actually like to see? Would I like to see one every 2 weeks with some nice pictures in? Would I like a little snippet every day? And do what you'd actually like to receive.
Right. That's such a solid advice. Be super conscious and aware of how you are in your own personal inbox. Be aware, but figure out, like, why have I never opened this email? I've been receiving it now for like several months. Why am I still not opening it? Or why do I always open this email? Or which ones are you aware of? And use that information in like creating a because ultimately you want to be able to sell, but you don't want to piss people off. And to be honest, even if you do, that's not an effective way to offer your products at all. So the other thing is that people, obviously, before they make the decision to purchase, often people need to see things, I always say 32 times. Now, don't send 32 emails. Obviously, email comes into a small portion of that. So I would say, you know, when you're coming to sell, you want to tell people things are coming, and then maybe tell them the day before, and then maybe tell them on the day, right? You don't want to be emailing 32 times. Those 32 times aren't just through emails. It's like through Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or whatever platform, LinkedIn or TikTok or Pinterest or however you interact with your followers, right? But so I would say that it's important to tell people in advance of what's happening, because an effective way to sell isn't just being like, there's a sale, like, oh shit, where does this come from out of bloody nowhere? It's better to say, hey, you know, I'm just thinking of putting up a sale. It's probably going to be in a couple of weeks. Here's a couple of pictures that I'm working on. Here's a work in progress picture of an art piece. Like, obviously, I know that's a bit hard for some people, but it's nice to show sometimes the progress steps. Obviously, we all know art goes through ugly phases, and maybe you don't want to show that. But sometimes I like to show them side by side, like that's an early stage, and this is a what's it's turned out to. Isn't that bloody amazing?
Yeah. It gives you something to send as well. If you don't know what to send in an email as well, they're great suggestions. Yeah. So if you are planning to sell something, don't just be like, here's a product available for sale, because it's not enough time. Like, people need to like mentally prepare. Like, if you think about it, if someone walked up to you in the street and said, buy my painting, we've all seen people like street sellers that sell art and stuff. And I mean, I'm sure, and people do buy from them, but you're sort of a bit like, oh. You know what I mean? It's a bit, I've had door-to-door people come and try and sell me paintings, which obviously it's hard selling to an artist, because I'm often like, I could just paint that. But you know what I mean? Yes.
But the difference between, let's say there's someone I don't know why I'm using a street reference, but I'm trying to make it relevant. But like, imagine that it was the same artist showing their stuff, you know, a couple of times and engaging you, but not so hard selling. And then after a few weeks, you go, actually, you know what? There was something I quite liked. And so emailing is very similar in the sense of, you have to give people forewarning, get them mentally prepared, allow them to understand that's what's coming. Like, I think it's like
one of those things, if it's still in your mind when you've seen something, you think, gosh, I must like that because I'm still thinking about it.
Right.
It's like keeping it front of mind for people.
You know what? That's so true. It is, because I mean, I do believe in love at first sight, but often real true love builds over time. And that's a bit like when you fall in love with a painting. I think so anyway.
Yeah.
So the other thing that I always recommend is for people to segment their list. So you've got all your people and then you put them in groups, right? Because the way that you interact with people who sign up because they want something for free, as in free wallpaper, a free tutorial, a free ebook, is, unless that ebook is specifically how do you buy Chris Mercer's art, which is different.
Title?
Right. Yeah. I'm going to make the ebook for you. Is like, so people that sign up for free stuff act very differently and kind of want different things than someone that signs up because you've said, hey, I'm launching a store where you can purchase products from me. If you want to early access, or if you want me to remind you so you don't forget, sign up to this list. Those people are in there because they want to purchase something, versus people being in your email list because they want to get something for free. Now, I'm not saying hard sell, but you know, if you only go in to people who have signed up for free stuff with, my store is open, my store is going, this is a, you know, store, like, you're going to get a bunch of unsubscribes. And
also that's your CRM as well will give you those different categories, so you can use your CRM to see all of that.
Yeah. So treat them differently. And, you know, obviously you want to give value to everyone. I love that Gary V method, the jab, 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 right hook.
Explain more of that for everybody.
Yeah. So basically it's about giving value. So the jabs are like giving value, give value, give value, give value. It might be you're giving free wallpapers and stuff. Obviously, you know, people that have signed up specifically to purchase from you, give them value. That might be just showing up with a friendly face in their inbox with some pretty pictures and an email that isn't taxing to their brain, right? So give so much that by the time you ask, that they are so happy and prepared to purchase from you, because they go, I've really enjoyed this, I love this sort of thing. So, you know, I love that method. And I'll be honest, recently I always come up against this challenge, which is I don't want to email people too much because I don't want to create list fatigue. But then I don't want to only email them when I've got a store open. So I'm trying to find a better balance where I and for me, obviously I sell in like events. So I would say that email-based selling is better when you've got an event being like you've got a special original painting available, or a couple of original paintings, or you're opening a print store that's open for a certain period of time, or you've added a new range of fabulous throat cushions or whatever it is, you know what I mean? So when something's happening. So I definitely believe in that, give value. And it's something that I need to work on personally doing more of. So that's why I'm mentioning it. It's really important.
I suppose it's
the other thing is like
when you've got a store going on, you've got emails going out probably quite regular, every couple of days or something, because you've got things happening. You've got lots of excitement going on. And if you've got, so like I've just got a website which is open all the time. Mine's more like just to keep in contact. A month newsletter, unless I've got something, as you say, like a new line, or, you know, I've just started doing canvases to let people know what's going on as well.
Well, if you're doing that and if you're just building a relationship, it's perfect, because you're going, oh, this is what's going on in the studio. This is a couple of pieces I'm working on. This is like the before and after. What a glow up, you know, and just a little bit like that.
We put so much effort into all the Facebook things and that, don't we? You know, we can use stuff like that, whatever we've done on the Facebook, and people are actually going to see it, because from your socials, it's like 2% of your followers will see what you're actually putting out there. So your email list might be really grateful to go, wow, are you doing this now?
Yeah, well, I mean, and that's what I absolutely love. Obviously, there are still like open rates and click rates within your email. So not 100% people open. I think industry average is like 20% or 10% or something. But honestly, once you start writing in a really human way, and writing as if you're writing to a best friend, my open rates are like 60-70%, and click rates are like 40 or 50%, which is very unusually high. But that's totally manageable for any artist, because ultimately you're giving people what they want, which is like beautiful art, beautiful visions of whatever it is. So it's something I mentioned earlier that I think is kind of good to use your email list for, is to give like special perks to the people that are on your email list. Obviously it helps to build it, but you know, you can allow people to know about artworks that you don't necessarily post for sale publicly. So often I'll have like original works that I'll only share to my email list, or I'll give them like early access into the store so that they can pick out the things before the mad rush. Although the email list is a bit big now, so it still is a mad rush, but
and that's all right. That's great.
It's a good
my last exhibition, I give people access to a private page so they could actually view the art before it went on exhibition.
Oh, that's such a good
nice
idea
thing to do, isn't it? It's a lovely
thing.
A
good idea. Get people mentally prepared. Again, this is it. Like even when they're coming to your exhibition, allow them to see your work in advance so they can start to build a relationship with it. It's amazing. You know, I love that. I would even
sell as well, isn't it? You know,
100%. like, no, I always just sell like digital bundles in my e-commerce store, but you could, like, if there was a piece that you really wanted to sell, you could offer the wallpaper for their phones, make a beautiful wallpaper for their phones. And trust me, they're not seeing it 32 times. They're seeing it 300 times in a day. And then when you make it available, all of a sudden it's like, it's that wallpaper I love. That's such a good tag. That's such a good thing to build that connection with the art as well. The other thing, and I mean, I guess this is all part of writing like a human, is, you know, asking for responses and like avoiding the do not reply, because I don't know about you, Chris, there's nothing more off-putting than a one-way like communication.
It's quite annoying, actually, isn't it? You know, if you do have something that you want to contribute or you want to ask, and then you just can't find, and this is for your websites and everything as well, if you want to put contacts on there that people can actually get hold of you, you know, 100%. That's what we want. What? You know, it might create a lot in your inbox, but that's what we want.
Well, you got to build a relationship, right? And how do you build a relationship if no one can bloody talk to you? Just one way. I just shout at my followers, buy my art. You know, you got to build that relationship. And it's so important. And even when you've got 100,000 people on your email list, I'm not there yet. I'm working my way up. Still ask for responses, because here's the thing, most people don't. You know, you'll get a portion, but the ones that do become the people that are closest to you, the most engaged, right? Those are the people that become your I was going to say devout followers.
We'll have raging fans, hey?
Raging fans, your evangelists, or whatever they call it in Silicon Valley. Those are the people that, you know, you can build a really strong connection with. And it makes such a difference. So, you know, never, ever send from a do not reply email. Put them in the bin. It's just unnecessary. Like, ask for responses, ask how people are. And then, of course, follow up, respond. And I know, I get it. As someone that gets a lot of DMs and a lot of messages, it is a challenge sometimes to get through everyone. But at the end of the day, it's all well and good making loads of artwork, but if you don't have relationships, there is zero chance that you will be able to get your art out into the world. It will just stay hidden with you in your studio, which we don't want. Like,
and then you're doing all the hard work, aren't you? Because you've done all the work to get the people in, to get the emails, to talk to them, and then you don't bother. It's like,
right.
It's just, you just don't want that, because you just have to start all over again, find some new people, because those people, it's like in real life, you're not going to, if you don't talk to them, they're not going to bother with you after a while.
No, exactly. So, you know, I always say, you know, ask for responses, ask them. I hide secret messages in some of the products that I sell that say, like, if you see an email from me, email me back, because I'm at the other end. It's not like a goes off into the void. Like, I will literally respond. I'm here. Like, talk to me. It's so important. I think, so the other thing is, I always think is really important, is to always include some links, right? Even if you're not offering something for sale, like offer a link to, I saw this online, it was really beautiful. Or, you know, I saw, you know, I just put up a YouTube video, or I just saw this news article, or whatever it is, because it's important to get people familiar with clicking on stuff. But also, there's a lot of great resources that you can you can send to people that people appreciate. So regardless of what the email is, always,
so you wouldn't always do it to your own stuff, you'd link it to other people's. Yes. Look at this great podcast, here's a link.
You're like, I'm amazing, you know. Well, here's it, but you know, I like, you know, it's also a easy way to share extra information that's not overwhelming in an email, because at the end of the day, if a person's got time to click, they'll click. And if they don't, that's all cool.
Yeah.
And obviously it's another way of giving value, but also it gets people used to being in your emails and clicking. It builds up a level of trust, you know, because we all know that we get, you know, lots of malicious emails that at the end of the day end up causing us more, you know, we don't want to click specific links. So people have to be comfortable with you, that what you're giving is, you know, some
safe.
sort of, like a safe link.
Yeah.
And I think on that, you know, it's important to make it clear when you do have something to sell, make it clear that there is something available. I think that's quite important.
Yeah, don't be shy about it.
Yeah, don't be shy. But obviously, it's not so much of a hard conversation if you've been giving so much value. So I make it very clear and make the links very easy. I often will put more than one link. I'll put like one link at the top and one link at the bottom so that it just is easy. Take the tax away from it. And then obviously the last thing is just cleaning your list. So if there are people that are non-responsive, that are never opening your emails, just put them in the list. You don't necessarily have to delete them, but just, you don't have to consistently, you know, you can't be to flog a dead horse, as they say. Like if people aren't opening them or whatever, you can email them sporadically, but there's no point emailing them loads. All you'll do is fill up someone's inbox that they'll never look at your emails, and maybe they'll unsubscribe, and that will make your emails end up in someone's spam folder. So that's something that I think is important to do when you're trying to sell through an email list, because really you want to be in someone's main inbox. Like that's the whole point, right? So Chris, what are your top 3 things?
My top 3 things, your email list. People have signed up because they want to hear from you, so speak to them. You know, I know we all get a lot of emails, so we can be a little bit you know, reluctant maybe to send emails out, but people have signed up to our email list, so it's like they want to know what's going on with us. Number 2 is talk to them as if they're your friend, which you know, you taught me that, Kat. It's like, well, you know, when I was doing an email, and then, you know, when I looked over again and to go, would I say this to a friend? It's like, nah, I wouldn't say that.
100%.
So like, imagine like a really great friend that you've got, have them in your head, and, you know, you can write your email, then read it again or do whatever and keep tweaking it till you go, oh yeah, that feels right. That feels congruent. That feels me. Yeah. And then you're on track then, because then you're letting your personality and style out to the world. You know, we're not being this person that we think we should be, not being official. We're not being, oh, we're now the artists now. We're just being us. People buy because it's just us. So make your emails read like it's from you.
Yeah.
And thirdly, stay in touch. Don't always be selling, because there's nothing worse, is there really, when every time you open it, somebody wants something from you. And, you know, so it's building that relationship up. And you're all experts. We're all experts in what we do. If we've been painting, we've probably been painting for a while. We probably do it often. So we're really good at what we do. So it's like, share that with people, share your knowledge with people. People do want to hear from people who know what they're talking about. So stay in touch and share what you know with people, build that relationship.
I love that. That's fantastic. So my top 3 things. Firstly, give value. Jab, 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 right hook. Nice. Again, it's something that I'm going to be adopting a lot more moving forward, but just, it's about building that relationship, as you said. Number 2, keep it short and on point. Don't make it complex. Don't make it hard. Don't exhaust your audience. Just brief, like, because most likely if you're getting an email from a friend, it's not pages and pages and pages and pages long, unless there's like something major life catastrophes just happened. But 9 times out of 10, probably even more than that, 99% of the time when you get emails from people that you know, they're not novels.
Yeah.
Very rarely.
And with that as well, we're making it easy for people, aren't we? For
Right.
us, I mean, to write an email to somebody, because it's like, you know, that can stop us moving forward to think, oh, geez, what are we going to write? But writing 2 paragraphs, it's like
easy.
Yeah.
And the last thing is always to include some kind of links. Get people familiar and used to clicking on links, but also link clicks indicate to your email service, whatever that is. I use Klaviyo. What do you use, Chris?
The
MailChimp. So, all I could think of was Mail Monkey then.
Same but different.
Same but different. Include links. It indicates to them that people are interested, but also, you know, it's a good way to add value. Any final closing comments, Chris?
I think most are the same. Have fun with this. Have fun with it. See yourself, have fun.
You know what?
And,
great advice.
Because I think we take things too seriously sometimes, and then it becomes a task. So
right, that's for sure. So in closing, I'd love to know, have you used your email list to sell your work? Write in the comments if you've had any challenges or what you think works well for you. And we'd love to hear. We always look. As always, all the links are down in the description. And give us a quick follow if you don't want to miss future episodes. The next episodes, we are going to be talking about how to manage emotions and uncertainty as an artist.
Beautiful.
Thanks from me and Chris. I'll see you next time.